Good morning. Happy Valentine's Day today. Whew, this is a special one. This is Leaning In with Ann. This is a walk and talk that I do every week, Monday through Thursday. I am Ann Ferguson, and I am a relationship coach. Realized that today because really I do help people find their relationships and make them tight and make them strong all over the place. Relationships with you, yourself and I, relationships with God, relationships with kids, relationships with spouses, relationships with work environment places. I am a relationship specialist. Doesn't mean I'm perfect, because I got some relationships I'm still working on, and that's why I can mentor you. Maybe that's better. I don't like the word coach. I'm a relationships mentor. Today is Valentine's Day. So today is a great day for me to shine in that, right? I'm also an author, public speaker. What are you today? What are you today? All right. We're going to talk about intimacy today. First thing we got to do is get rid of expectations. The expectations of what it's supposed to be are set up by people who are profiting off of your expectations. I know you hear this all the time, but I really want you to hear it. Okay? When you watch a movie and there is a love, even just the attraction, there's music. Do you know what that music does? It vibrates into your room. And do you know what your body does? Your body picks up on the vibration. And do you know what your brain does? Your brain says that picture right there equals this vibration, which is just awesome because it makes me feel so loving. And so now I can see for real what it looks like. Do you know I learned what romantic love looked like totally off of media? Do you know why? Because my parents were never in the same room. Never in the same room. I learned what love looked like from 80s movies. Let's go there for a second. I want you to think for just a minute, where did you learn what romantic love was supposed to look like? Like if somebody was really into you, where did you learn that? So when I was in junior high school, we used to call it going with each other. A kid really liked me. And he asked me to go out with him. So that was kind of like status, right? If you're going with someone, that's how we said it back in the 80s. I was going with him, so I said yes. Guess what? I didn't talk to him for a solid week because I didn't even know what that meant or how I was supposed to act or what I was supposed to do. Do you know why? Because one thing, I didn't ever see natural affection between my parents. They didn't even hold hands. Like I never saw them in the same room. Except on the bench, like at church. You know, I saw that. Sunday dinner, saw that. But they didn't talk to each other. Isn't that funny? So I didn't talk to this kid because I didn't know what I was supposed to do. He broke up with me. So I'm just wanting to check in to find out where you found out about romantic love. Okay, ladies who are on here, gentlemen, listen up. I'm going to give you something that you don't know. You know this, but you don't know what to do about it. It's never taught. Your intimacy is emotional. Guys, I want you to listen up. Women's intimacy is emotional. So when they are emotional and you have enough emotional availability to sit with them and hear what they say and actually share your own feelings, like the deep ones, back, so much intimacy. And ladies, we know, because the world tells us and shows us that men's intimacy is physical. Now, I want you to know that maybe they're not perverts. Maybe they're not all just dumb boys that just want physical touch or release. What if that is how they feel intimate? Guys, what if your woman trying to draw you in and talk to you about things is that intimacy? There's a thing that I listened to. It was called Emotional Foreplay. It was so good. It talked about why men don't actually risk vulnerability, why they don't talk to us. So women, listen up. Guys, I want thumbs up here if you are listening to this. A lot of times they don't want to expose their true feelings, especially if they're struggling, because they feel like you're going to think they're weak and that you're going to look down on them if they actually express actual emotion. Did you know that, ladies? Gentlemen, I'm going to tell you what, sometimes that's real. I'm sorry about that. Most of the time it's not. Most of the time when a man actually opens up and shares with us what's going on, we actually feel connected and appreciative. Ladies, I want you to think about something for just a minute. When a man opens up his heart, it's like being naked in front of you. Vulnerably naked in front of you. We're not trained as women to keep our men emotionally safe like they and society asks them to keep us physically safe. Not that they all do. But do you know that? We get after men. Everybody looks down on a man who is physically abusive to a woman, right? But emotional intimacy, we need to hold that just as sacred as physical. So here's another thing. Another reason why they don't want to share is because we'll get emotionally hijacked. They will. So if they share and they say, so I feel this and this and this and this, and then immediately after that, we say, well, that just makes me feel so upset. And I feel bad because you did this and this and this and this and that. You've emotionally hijacked the conversation. Why? Because we're starving to share. I'll go into that in just a minute. But actually, I'm going to do it now. Ladies, I want you to imagine for just a minute if you have finally, like you're kind of, dating a guy, first kind of letting him in, if you finally let him hold your hand and it's like, oh, she's letting me in. And then he goes to kiss you and kisses you way more than the peck because, yes, it's open. She's into me. Physically hijacking the experience, right? Because you're just barely willing to hold hands and he physically hijacks. I want you to understand that when a man just barely trusts you to actually expose a little bit of intimacy, I want you to hold back. Because just like there is sexual tension, ladies, do you know we have emotional tension just like the sexual tension of men? Did you know that? It's fascinating, right? So emotional hijacking, that's one thing. Another thing that makes men not want us to share is that they are afraid that we will use whatever they say against them later. So say a man is really, really, really nervous about something that's going on at work. And he's just telling you, it kind of feels paralyzed. And then later, maybe somebody else gets a promotion. And you say, well, you told me you were totally paralyzed and you didn't do a dang thing about it. That is using that emotional intimacy against them. Did you know that? So another thing is, opening up just a little bit, and then they shut down. And we get so dang upset. Why won't you just talk to me? We actually chase them down. Why won't you just talk to me? Just talk to me. You need to talk to me. You know what that's like? That's like you saying no to physical intimacy, and they don't take no for an answer. Did you know we do that? Like, this just totally woke me up when I had this realization. Now, men, you can go, yeah, that's why I don't. All right, we're going to flip this one around. Men, you kind of want us to look sexy, right? To take care of our bodies. Maybe not model sexy, but at least like feel good about ourselves so that, you know, that physical stuff will go down, right? Yeah. I'm responsible for my own sexual health. That includes my work, my thoughts, my feelings, my attitudes about physical intimacy. That's my responsibility. Me knowing whether or not I want to go deeper or not into a physical experience is mine to know, right? Gentlemen, you do not put in the work to be emotionally healthy, vulnerable. The vulnerability that is required for us to dive deep into your heart to feel connected, you're not doing the work. And then you kind of get mad at us when we don't want to let you dive deep. See, it's absolutely, men and women are opposite in the ways that we need to be. You want to have an incredible physical experience? Be vulnerable, naked, in front of your wife, emotionally. Now, here's the problem. We are not taught what it is to feel emotion. We're taught we're never supposed to feel emotion, right? Well, in some ways, it's kind of like, you know, don't run around naked in front of everybody in public, right? So the emotional foreplay, it's not a book. It was a podcast that I listened to, and it confirmed some things for me that I had already thought about, because I was really struggling with feeling connected. Like, not the physical connection. And I know that he would feel connected all the time, but like, I'm just like kind of, women, you know what this is. It's kind of a body. Not that he did anything wrong. Didn't treat me like an object. But there was something missing. And I realized it was that emotional connection. Guys, if you watch the chick flicks, you know why we watch chick flicks? Because the guys in the chick flicks are emotionally connected to their woman. And when they're not, it's the guy gets girl because he's emotionally connected. Guy loses girl because he's not emotionally connected. Guy gets girl back because he's emotionally connected. Watch that pattern. It's actually quite fascinating that we know this, but we don't know it. So there's a guy, his name's Nick Matesh, that is on Instagram. One of the best men's coaches ever, that shows men, look, this is what emotional intimacy looks like. So he does these little videos and he role plays, and it's so much fun. Because he's like, men's coach, yeah, I don't know what's going on. I mean, my wife, you know, she just doesn't even want to, you know, be around me anymore. And all she wants to do is talk. Guys, listen up. When your wife is trying to talk to you, she's actually in a place of wanting emotional foreplay. She's wanting emotional intimacy. I really connected kind of back and forth all of the different ways that emotional intimacy resembles physical intimacy. Like the teasing, and then I remember saying to one, trying to explain this, men, I want you to think about this for just a minute. How many times have you actually shown your heart? Like, actually been real. Not protective, not the great big warrior, not the I can fix it or you're going to be fine, suck it up, buttercup. Suck it up, buttercup. Man, that is like, I see you, I know you want to be here, I'm shutting the door on you. That's the rollover in the grandma jammies. Suck it up, buttercup. Good luck with that. I don't care if you got sexual tension. It doesn't matter to me. That's what happens. I want you to think about this for a minute. How many times have you had a deep, intimate, emotional conversation where you were both raw and accepting of each other? Because if it's not very often, men, listen up. If you haven't had emotional, deep conversations, it's like what it would be like for a man would be going 17 years worth of marriage and having physical, sexual relations 3 times. Think about that for a minute. Now, ladies, we have to take responsibility for this. I know, so do men. It goes both ways. It goes both ways. I have got to realize that my connection, my feeling connected, is not all physical. Doesn't mean I can't feel connected physically. I can. But that's not the place where it fills me up. So I have to set some things up. That's what I did on my anniversary. Guys, if you want to know what this is, do you want to do it today? Can I give you a today? Gentlemen, if you're watching this, actually get quiet in your heart. Stop being busy for a second. Stop providing and doing all the big manly things. Sit down and consider, what do I appreciate, admire, and respect about my woman? Who is this person in front of me? Nothing physical. Absolutely nothing physical. Who is she? What do I admire about her and how she shows up in this world? Emotional connection is why there are Valentine's Day cards. Do you know how much more you want to open your wife up? You write her a note. And you say, this is why I pursued you in the beginning. This is why I'm so fulfilled with you now. Yeah, you know what? The reality is I drive my husband absolutely crazy. I don't put the dishes in the sink the right way. I don't empty the lint trap the right way. I don't shut the doors or turn off the lights. You know, I leave my plate out on the table. Not all the time, but he catches it. Drives him absolutely crazy. He can completely dismiss that there's any reason to love me because I'm not doing it right. He misses me, like the person that's standing in front of him. Ladies, the opposite goes for you. I went a year and a half as my first marriage was breaking up, with a man who would not even sleep in the bed with me. And it goes further than that. He would not be in the same room as me. So if I was in the living room, he'd go to the kitchen. If I was in the kitchen, he'd go to the basement. Literally, the only time that we were ever in the same vicinity was on the bench at church. Later, when I met Tom, it's like day 2 or 3, we went to a parade, downtown DC. And there were throngs of people. Now we had known each other. There was nothing else. He picked me up in his Jeep. I went with friends down to this parade. Well, there were throngs of people like throngs of people. Think about it. Washington, D.C., parade down Constitution Ave. It was big. There was a moment where the sea of people kind of were starting to swallow me. Guys, I know I supposedly look tall on this thing. I am 5'2". I am really little. And throngs of people equal I get swallowed. So things were kind of starting to close in on me, and Tom reached back and grabbed my hand. I hadn't had a man's hand in my hand for almost 2 years. And I felt what a man's hand in my hand feels like. Ladies, we actually need physical too. There are times when we don't want to be physical. And it's okay to say no. And it's okay to say yes. Gentlemen, there are times where you don't want to open up emotionally. And there are times where it's okay to say no. And it's okay to do it even when you don't want to. And say yes. If we can figure out how to be emotionally intimate, everything else is going to be better. It's the missing piece. Now, gentlemen, if you don't have emotional, vulnerable availability, it is your responsibility to learn how to do that. Your wife will teach you. She'll show you the way. You know, it's kind of how the sexual thing is supposed to go down, right? My husband will show me the way. At least when I was a kid, not a kid, young woman, right? They're supposed to know how to do this thing. Women, you need to start getting really, really aware inside you of what you feel, and you need to start speaking it. Gentlemen, you need to start getting very, very real with what you feel and start speaking it. I can't make you feel connected physically without touching you. You can't help me feel emotionally connected and intimate without you talking to me. Ladies, that's why we feel like we're just an object. Gentlemen, that may be why you feel like your wife just doesn't even want you anymore. It's not about the physical. It's about everybody being in a relationship and being emotionally lonely. If you want to know how to do this, I have you. I know how to start that process of making it safe to open up, to connecting into your heart. Nobody's fault. Everybody, stop blaming each other. Ladies, your husband, do not act like the guys on TV that makes your heart twitter, because there's no screenwriter or actor to give your husband all the ins and outs of how this is supposed to go down. We have to stop judging our men for being closed up. Men, you have got to stop thinking that being closed up is helpful. We do like your muscles. We do like the fact that you can fix things. We do like when you get up with babies and when you support us that way. We do. When we are super sad, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to fix it. Witness it. Learn how. Witness it. I see that you're really sad today. Thanks for letting me in. Is there anything I can do? That's all you need. So there was a situation kind of recently where I woke up and I was feeling really yucky. I fight depression, especially in the wintertime. I fight it in the morning. That's when I feel the lowest. And so I said to my husband, I'm feeling this, 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 and this. And he came back with, you've got this, you're strong, you can do it. And while that's nice, what I would have loved, gentlemen, listen up. Hey, babe, Thanks for letting me in. Let me see you today. Guys, I want you to hear how simple this is. Thank you for letting me in. I'm glad I know that about you today. Ladies, when your man actually is frustrated and angry and irritated, can we just hold that for a minute and say, I see you're really upset. Do you want to talk about it? Now, notice what I said. I see that you're upset. Do you want to talk about it? This is why. Gentlemen, expressing emotion by showing us what your emotions are, by being grouchy and ornery and frustrated and telling us everything that we did wrong, is not emotionally vulnerable. What that is like a baby. You're not a baby. I'm not calling you a baby. We all do this. We show our emotions, or sad, or pouting, or all of the emotions we show, because when we were children, we showed our emotions and our caregivers made it better. They took care of our discomfort. You ever thought of that? When we got vocabulary, we stopped fussing the same. I'm hungry, Mommy. I'm tired. I want that. We started to speak, and the tantrums went down. We did not say, I feel lonely. I feel impatient. I feel forgotten. I feel unimportant. We were not taught to do that. And so we show our emotion. Emotional intimacy is not showing emotion. Emotional intimacy is learning the vocabulary and speaking it. So, ladies, you're going to take responsibility today for your Valentine's Day. Now we know that physical intimacy is not all there is. And chocolate and flowers, Does it really? Because what you're trying to do is you want your man to show you that he sees you. Did you know that? That's the chocolate and flowers. Oh, I see her. She likes this. She likes that. I see her. That seeing is emotional. So, ladies, today, right now, text your husband. Text your significant other. If you are all alone, you're going to write a letter to yourself. And ladies, you're going to say, what I would love today is a note. I would love to know what you appreciate, admire, or respect about me. Can you do that? Don't need the flowers, don't need the chocolate. I appreciate them. Thank you if you've gotten them. But what I would love is to know what you appreciate, admire, or respect about me. Guys, you want to turn it up? Do that. Ladies, you've got to ask, you've got to let them know that the TV isn't it. You got to connect to what you need, and you've got to speak it in a way that they hear it. Not condemning, not judgmental. I would love to make you aware of what makes me feel connected to you, because I want to feel connected to you. That's what I did. I told Tom, no flowers. A lot of times if he's not here, a lot of times he'll send flowers. This year, the flowers didn't quite cut it. So I told him, I don't want flowers this year. I don't want to also spend, Valentine's Day completely alone. I said, what I want is words. I want to know what's in your heart about me. So he did. It's not easy for him. I feel extremely heard, seen, and loved today, because it wasn't easy. And he sent me a text message. And he told me what he actually thinks about me. Not physically. What he thinks about me as a woman. Girlfriend stuff, right? Guys, love notes, girlfriends. What'd you do? Do it again. Connect with her. And have a really, really happy Valentine's Day. We can talk more about this another time. Right? Because it's an important subject. Take a minute. Find your emotion. What would you love to feel so that this day you can feel satisfied? whether you're alone, whether you are with a partner who is appreciative and loves you, whether you're a partner that physically you bond with, whether you're with a partner who doesn't give you the time, shuts you down physically. You can feel what you want to feel without anybody else. Take a minute. What would you love to feel? I would love to feel seen, appreciated, and connected. Now I'm going to go out and I'm going to see people and I'm going to connect with people and I'm going to share my love, and every single loving act that comes towards me, every smile, every hello, every opening of the door, every message, anything that comes on Facebook, I'm going to take a deep breath and I'm going to receive it, and I'm going to sit in love all day long. All right, everybody. Have a super great day. I will see you tomorrow.